like to answer random and interesting questions? You clicked on this video. Woo! Let's go.
What's the first sign that a movie is going to be bad?
If it has an exhaustive list of celebrities as its cast, they're what the marketing focuses on rather than the story or the characters. And the starring list in the trailer is literally a novel. Especially if this movie in question is a kid's movie or a comedy.
What's the worst experience you've had with a homeowners association?
So back when Among Us was the most popular thing on Earth, I thought it would be really funny to clear away some of the dust on a little garage window and draw a crewmate, with the word sus right next to it. Family had a good laugh when they discovered it, and they just left it alone for a while. The only way you'd be able to see it is if you were going right up to the garage door, and even then, we almost always have the car blocking it. So a few weeks after I finished my artistic masterpiece, we get a letter from the Homeowners Association saying that it's distracting and we need to clean it. First of all, the aforementioned windows are really small, like they're no bigger than this book. So like I told you, the only way you'd be able to see the Among Us is if you were like no more than 2 feet from the window and you moved past an area that's normally blocked. So not only did the Homeowners Association send us a complaint letter over a frickin' Amogus meme, they're also creeps because they snuck around the outside of the house and somehow managed to find it in the first place. If I ever become a billionaire, I'm going to commission a golden statue of the world's largest Among Us and put it on the lawn of whoever the president of the Homeowners Association is.
If you could place 4 things on Mars to confuse scientists, what would it be?
First of all, some sort of evidence of ape DNA, so like a chimp hair, for example. A human skeleton with some sort of deformity, like extra fingers and toes or conjoined twins, a fossilized plant, and an assortment of colorful crystals.
What would you ban if you could?
Posting pictures of a random stranger to the internet without their consent. This is a big issue that harms and dehumanizes people just like me. There's so many videos out there of someone just creepily following someone around and kind of laughing at them to themselves. Sometimes it's a goth kid. Sometimes it's someone wearing animal ears. Sometimes it's someone with a body pillow or someone in cosplay. And if you look at the comments, everyone's saying extremely hateful and ignorant things about the person being filmed. They'll range anywhere from insensitive jokes to death wishes. I once saw this video where a lady was following around a person wearing a clip-on foxtail, and she was literally pulling their tail. The person with the tail ignored her, didn't even look at the camera, and the comments were all going, well, at least they didn't bark at you, ha ha ha. So I think if you're gonna harass people like that and then boast about it online, it should be an automatic ban for whatever social media account you're posting it from. So whatever the platform's rules for violent or explicit content are, they should apply here too.
What is the dumbest thing you've gotten in trouble for at school or anywhere else?
I never grew up around religion, so little kid me didn't exactly grasp the concept that God was something that people believed in. I just thought it was a phrase like, in God we trust, oh my God, I swear to God. So in elementary school, I'm not sure what the context of the scenario was, but I was really surprised by something and I went, oh my God. And the teacher made a mean face at me and said, don't say that. So I was like, okay, sorry, oh my gosh. And she got even madder and put me on the bad behavior list. Because, you know, innocently saying something, not knowing that other people may be offended by it, apologizing, and then correcting your mistake. Classic bad behavior, am I right?
What do you wish there was an app for?
So you know how you can Google something like Mexican food near me or local showtimes for the newest Marvel movie, and then you get directions to the closest one to you? So imagine something like that, but for arcade machines and pinball machines. It would be a crowdsourced thing. So like, if you went to your local pizza parlor and you saw they had a couple arcade games there, you can make a page for the pizza parlor and add what games are on there. So then you'd be able to search for games like Theatrhythm Final Fantasy or The Simpsons Pinball, or you can just search for a genre like shooting games, and it will list the closest ones to you, and if you click on a location, it will give you driving directions to that location.
If some kind of hell actually exists, what do you think it's really like?
I personally don't believe in heaven and hell, but I've always liked the notion that the afterlife is personalized and it looks different for every human being. So for me, it wouldn't be all fire and brimstone. I love fire and brimstone. It'd probably be like an extreme version of the village fights from Resident Evil 4. I think it would be less based on what you did to deserve going to hell. I think it would be more about like your worst, deepest fears.
What fictional character wouldn't have any friends in real life?
This one is super easy, but I think it might be a little controversial within the fandom for this show. Zenitsu from Demon Slayer. I honestly, genuinely cannot stand that character, and I wonder why people actually like him. Yes, I can acknowledge that he helps Tanjiro and Inosuke get out of a tough spot a couple times over the course of the series so far, but half of his screen time just seems like crying and screaming at literally everything. Like, you go on a picnic with him, a fly lands near his food, it doesn't even need to touch it, it just lands slightly close to him, and now he's screaming. And when you try and console him and say, it's just a fly, it's not that big of a deal, he'll start crying because he thinks you just insulted him. And heaven forbid he makes any female friends.
Nezuko-chan! Nezuko-chan!